What it do, 2K fans? This your boy JuKIng the Boss. It's been 10 days since I dropped my last video. Was feeling a little bit under the weather, but I took the time last week to also just watch E3, collect all my notes, get as much information as possible, and see what the companies are doing with their biggest names, whether they were going to drop new titles. There's a lot to go over when it comes down to what happened at E3, but that's a separate video. Today's video, we're going to talk about NBA 2K19 versus NBA Live 19. Now, when it comes down to a competition standpoint, everybody says, you know, there's a clear winner, but you got those who enjoy whichever product they love. And at the end of the day, I want to talk to you about why 2K and Live can learn from being competitive with one another, the benefits of them having competition with one another. We want to all see Live do better and better, get better and better, because at the end of the day, the second Live becomes a competitive entity that 2K has to worry about, then that's when they're going to guaranteed be able to pull away further from, oh, our game is money, we're going to continue to print money with this game, and they'll have to kind of focus on what can we do to really make sure the fans get what they want and they come to the 2K side of things. So when it comes down to it, 2K19 and Live 19 are both going to take some big steps forward. Live 19 on the visual side and hopefully the gameplay side match up, because visually Live was, I won't say unappealing, it was actually decent. It looked really good to me. There are quite a few people who disagreed, there are people who agree, but at the end of the day, on the visual side of it, there was never really a comparison of Live and 2K, but it really boiled down to the gameplay. Now, though Live had a very archaic kind of gameplay, the thing about it was still fun. Now, for the competitive player, it probably wasn't as competitive as you wanted it to be, and that's understandable, but 2K wasn't as competitive as you wanted it to be. Each of these games got a lot they got to focus on, so there's a couple of things that both of these games are going to have to kind of do moving forward. Now, Live felt like it was developed by a couple of different teams in the same room. I don't mean that they had one team working on one thing, one team working on the other, but the minds of the teams were working better together. So when it came down to it, you had a person who kind of led the discussion on how you wanted to do the one game mode when it comes down to the NBA aspect. You had another person who looked at it and said, well, how do we want to do the team up aspect, playing with players online? And then you had another cat who dealt with how to combine the two and make it all fun. And something that 2K can actually learn from Live, and a couple of people have mentioned this before, is the seasonal style content. And I got another video about how EA could use seasonal style content for their EA Sports franchise. But right here, we're going to talk about when it comes down to seasonal content, we all can agree that 2K kind of hurt us when it came down to the league, because then we knew we wasn't going to get any more innovations, any more ideas, any more concepts. But at the end of the day, I want to look at it and hope that they use this as a testing ground, and moving forward, they recognize every mistake that they made and push forward in it. When it comes down to dealing with things like snatchback animations and the limitless greens that you get from them, when it dealt with dealing with the dribble drive, going right past a defender like it wasn't anything, you know, these are things that people want to see fixed. But what helps it a little bit more is that if you have a product that's enjoyable, people can take a little bit of the hit from the hurt while you tweak those settings. So because 2K didn't continue to add content and continue to make updates and changes, that's what hurt the community as a whole. So when you look at what EA Sports did with NBA Live, and how in the one you had the team ups, the live team ups and things like that allowed you to basically compete for more cosmetic gear and enjoy the game beyond the release. And so understand, I'm a 2K fan. I'm always play 2K. Like I said, the only way I'm gonna stop playing 2K is if they go so far off the rails that they forget what it's like to create basketball games. And when that happens, then I think everybody's gonna look at 2K and say, what are y'all doing? You know, like who's lining y'all pockets to a point where y'all are gonna forget about the fans who put you where you are. So when it comes down to what 2K can learn from it is that that's what's going to create healthy competition. You look at what Live did with the Live run. You look at what Live did when it came down to adding extra content throughout the course of the year, throughout the course of the season. And you say if 2K did that, it would have been at least a little bit more manageable, a little bit more palatable, and a little bit more easy to stomach some of the bad things that happen. You know, we all want to get to a point where they step away from microtransactions being the only driving factor for the money that they make. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, 2K18 didn't outsell 2K17 at the end of the day. And it was mainly because the heat that got 2K in the hot water right out the gate. So learning from live, even though I wouldn't say that either one of these games need to go free to play or anything like that. What allows Fortnite to be successful in that aspect is Fortnite is technically not free to play. Fortnite Battle Royale is essentially something that Ubisoft did. Now I know y'all are saying Ubisoft didn't make Fortnite. No, Ubisoft did the same thing though. About 6 years ago with Ghost Recon Future Soldier. They allowed you to actually play the multiplayer aspect of that game with no limitations, and that would entice you to buy into the game. So you didn't get a demo of a game where you could play with specific or selective characters and everything like that. You had a sample of a mode of the game where you could upgrade the characters, you could level up the characters, and granted, you had limitations to how far you can level the characters because they want you to invest in the full game. But I mean, that's essentially what Fortnite did, and it wouldn't be too bad if 2K did something like that. I mean, they do create the prelude, but they make it a very limited experience, and it's not enough to entice you to buy the game. It's not enough to entice you to invest in the game. It's just showing you what it looks like now, and then most of the time it's not even a semblance of the final product. When it comes down to gameplay and controls, it usually feels a little smoother in the in that little aspect of it. So when it comes down to it, moving forward, as long as Live continues to go on the path that they're going, continue to work on fixing the only things that are considered bugs in their game, because the gameplay is there with some tweaks that need to be made. First of all, more fluid animations need to occur. Second of all, they need a better handle on the control scheme of things, and just add a little more advanced mechanics in there. Now they're adding some advanced mechanics, but they're not adding a lot of advanced mechanics, and I'm not mad at them off that, because at the end of the day, I'd rather you take it a step at a time and just essentially create a better product over time, as opposed to trying to rush and throw a lot of things in at one time. That's what hurt Live the first time around in 2005, was they tried to add so many features and never optimize any of them, and so it literally became a buggy mess. Now for 2K moving forward, you need to look at it and say, well, Live is starting to do some great things, and see what they do that connects with an audience. Essentially 2K need to break their mindset, their development team up into like sectors when it comes down to being in the boardroom, being in the meetings. And that is, you need to look at it from the my career player perspective. So the person who plays my career, you need to look at it from the person who likes to play park, who likes to just play casually with their friends. And then you got to look at it from the perspective of those who like to play competitive. So when you break it down in those three perspectives, you can ultimately create a game that will bridge and blend all three of these factors together without any one of them being necessary for the others. And to me, that's what hurt. I recently played 2K offline, and there is literally nothing there. Like I said, wow, they really didn't care nothing about my career for the offline player, and that's terrible. Like at the end of the day, I understand a lot of companies are trying to lean people toward playing with others, but sometimes you just want to be able to kick the game in by yourself, not have to worry about, oh, I need to be in a shared space. There's so many games that are killing multiplayer with shared world instances, and I don't want to see 2K be one of them. So I love to see these cats do something big, and over the next couple of months, I got some talks I want to talk to y'all about EA Sports as a whole, and I'm gonna do a big review on everything we came through off of E3. And at the same time, some titles that I think didn't get enough floor time or didn't get showcased big that you might want to check out, that might be interesting to you, from sports to shooters to action adventure. I'm gonna cover it all. You know, we got a lot of content coming up. It's the summer of games. let's get into it. Let's have some fun, man. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you're looking for what you're looking forward to coming out this during this fall. You know, any titles coming out this summer, anything you plan on checking out now. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video.
Yeah.